Welcome back. Our first conversation will be with the Labour Party. Since the entrance of Mr. Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State, which gave them a good run in the last election, coming third in that exercise with 6.1 million votes, as against the president over 8 million, and the second place, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP with 6.9. There has been one form of leadership crisis or the other, centered around Julius Abure. As a matter of fact, at some point, he had to step aside and then came back into power. There was a time when it was Lamidi Apapa against him. Now, it looks like a few people have closed ranks. So the division sometimes borders around the Labour Party itself, the Obidient movement, and then the NLC. And the NLC has even had a transition committee. They're planning to convene to organize a convention, not recognizing what happened in Newi. And so the party has been doing all it can to see how they can close ranks. The other day, the NWC was meeting at the headquarters in Abuja with their presidential candidate present. And some people staged a protest at that particular gate, insisting that Julius Abure must go. What exactly is going on with the Labour Party? That's the conversation we'll have today. First part of the program. We're joined on the program by the National Vice President of the Labour Party, Mr. Ayo Olorunfemi, joins us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Olorunfemi, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
So maybe, whether it's a vague question or it's a generic question, what exactly is going on with the Labour Party?
Yeah, you just said it. The Labour Party had a very good showing when the last time when Governor Dr. Olusegun Mimiko was governor of Ondo State. And you recall that he contested and won election under the Labour Party twice. And some powers that be within the system were not comfortable with the like of Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, who, of course, is a socialist in nature, and so they created a problem. Now, who are the people creating this problem? You recall that from inception, apart from the time of Frederick Fashion, the next person that led the party was Dan Wanyanwu. And you recall that there was similar problem with Dan Wanyanwu created by NSC. Now, Wanyanwu, out of anger, threw away the certificate of registration of Labour Party. And eventually, Salam took over. And we also know that Abu Salam also had problem with NSC. And until he died, the problem was raging. And now Abure. All these people that I've mentioned were general secretaries of NSC-affiliated unions. Abure also belonged to the NSC. NSC have been providing leadership for the party through their members from inception, except for the except in the case of Dr. Frederick Fashion. TUC has never produced any chairman for the Labour Party, and so we are supposed to be the one agitating for leadership position. But no, the TUC is more interested in better Nigeria, the new Nigeria that is necessary at this stage, especially as the situation we find ourselves in the country today. So if you put everything on the doorstep of NSC, who also have been claiming to be the sole owner of Labour Party. And of course, talking about the operation of the party, Article 7 of the Constitution of the party talk about the supremacy of the Constitution of the party. So if you are doing anything outside the Constitution of the party, you are on your own. And of course, as you must have heard, efforts are being made to reconcile all the warring factions, or no, not faction now, all the aggrieved persons within the Labour Party. And of course, the Apapa coming back is also a reflection of what I'm saying. And of course, it therefore means that all the allegations levied against Julius Abure when the crisis under Apapa group was raging, now to be found to be not to be true. And so if you punish somebody for not committing any offense, what do you think God will do to you? So the same allegation are now being banded here and there by NSC. And where we felt in the Labour Party, we are committed to a new Nigeria. We are committed to a very strong political party. We are committed to building an institution and playing a role that is significant in the politics of Nigeria in ensuring that our recruitment system is so scientific and follow due process. And of course, the offense we have committed, or the offense Abure has committed, is basically because of the 2023 election that shocked everybody. The leadership style that he adopted in putting the party together shocked everybody. And a lot of people who believe that, well, it's a shop and shop thing, they want to take over power. Maybe some people are also planning to retire from the system, from where they are now, to come to the political party. There's nothing wrong in that. You can come to the political party, but you must follow the due process.
If I may butt in at this point, we had a conversation with Mr. Arabambi. I remember clearly I've had a conversation with him on this show, and he was very vehement against Mr. Abure. And now, clearly, from his words to our listening ears, he said they've closed ranks, himself, Papa, and Abure, on one hand, and then it was very clear that they're against Peter Obi. Why do you think that is? And the Obidients, because I know he mentioned whether it's the entire Obidients or some section of the Obidients, because of this rift that is going on. We're going to come to the issue of Abure. I just need you to respond to that.
If Arabambi came on air to say that Abure was a thief, and now he's no longer a thief, and he came to this same air to say that he was against Peter Obi, then you know that you will come to agree with me that is the Nigerian politics. And the Labour Party is not willing to bend down to the Nigerian politics. We are very scientific. We can't be playing the kind of politics we are playing in Nigeria and be developed. It won't work that way. Some of us that are God-fearing, we not just listen to rumor and fly with rumor. What happens if the rumor is not true and you have taken some drastic decision? Maybe you have even killed the person, and only for you to discover that everything that was said concerning that particular person were all lies. So they have done what they wanted to do. They have seen that we are also not relenting, and they have also discovered that we are serious people. And so if they want to come back, they are welcome. But don't take anything they said during the crisis, don't take it to bank. They are not true.
All right.
And what the NSC is also saying now.
Mr. Olorunfemi, I don't want to go into issues. Just a minute. So, straight questions about the position of Ms. Arabambi, because sometimes politicians, you almost make the work difficult for us. When issues are subject of litigation or adjudication, I'm glad it's not. When you introduce this person as this one say I'm that. I've had that situation right here on the show. So, what position does Mr. Arabambi and Mr. Apapa occupy in the leadership of the party right now? Because they were very strong opponents at the peak of the crisis. Let's begin from there. Yeah, they are members. They are members of the party. And the process of reconciliation is ongoing. We may likely have a kind of a special convention to fill some vacancies that were not occupied in the last, during the last convention. When you apply, when you contest, in contesting for some position, you will see some positions that are not even contested for. So those positions are still there, and those positions cannot be filled by just picking people. It will come through a special national convention. So for now, they are members of the party. Let's see what will happen in the reconciliation bid that is going on. And after that reconciliation bid, we will be able to sit down and fix a date for a special convention
to look at the various vacancies that still exist within the party.
We may have to come back to the issue of the Abdulwahid Omar-led transition committee, as he calls it, that Mr. Abure's tenure has ended, and a national convention has to be held, which is the reason why they literally wanted to storm into that NWC. They do not recognize the NWC as far as maybe in their views. But members of the Obidients, who are the strong components of the Labour Party, are even pushing that the presidential candidates in the last election should actually leave the party because it looks like the party is not getting its acts together. What's the response of the party to this?
Well, I will just use the word delusional. Those ones that are pressing for such, they are delusional. Some people can overrate themselves. The true obedient out there, they won't, and I repeat, they won't advise Peter Obi to leave the party. You have the true obedient, the student union groups, the youth of Nigeria, the hardworking people of Nigeria, the people who are tired of what is going on in Nigeria, people who are tired of hunger. Which political party will they go to? To go back to PDP or to APC or to where? This is a political party that is based on ideology. We are social democrat here. The people that put this political party together are social democrat, and that is entrenched in the constitution. So the only place for Peter Obi to be able to win election in 2027 is Labour Party, and we are already preparing for that. We are not saying that others will not come in. There is room for others to come in. We are going to get the best out of the system in order to come together, give the best human resource in terms of recruitment that will push the next election so that we can take Nigeria to where it should be. We should start the journey of taking Nigeria to where it should be, because Nigeria has been delayed.
All right. When you were talking about
completely.
There's no other parties to go to, I was smiling because it doesn't hold true in Nigeria. Nigerian politicians are always moving. There are very few we can count that have never moved. So Peter Obi was in APGA, went to PDP, now he's in Labour. Politicians, they move wherever their interest is served. But let's leave that. Let's come to what...
For that, if you have not seen what you are looking for, you keep moving. But now you are seeing what he's looking for. There's no basis for him to leave. He has seen what he's looking for.
You're on record.
What he has seen in Labour Party, he couldn't find in those political parties. That is why he continued the journey until he got to Labour Party, and he has come to stay. And more people will come and join him in Labour Party.
It's your position, but let's move on now. Former DG of his campaign, Donyo Kukwe, spoke to my colleague when some weeks ago, and it was very clear that with the benefit of hindsight, when he positions the president, Bola Tinubu, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi, he clearly sees that the president was better than all of them. And someone had actually said he's not fit to run in 2027, but he has responded to all of that. We've seen Kenneth Okonkwo, who was very vehement supporter of Peter Obi, begin to make statements that people are wondering what really went wrong. So how does the party perceive this, and how will it affect the image of the party, the way it positions itself as the, is it third force or the alternative that Nigerians are looking at?
Yeah, for Donyo Kukwe, he was never a social democrat, and he made it very clear when he was leaving. He pretended and joined us, deceived us, and when he has finished the damages he wanted to create, he left. So I will not sit down here and continue to talk about Donyo Kukwe. Everybody knows very well that Peter Obi is still the best president that we are yet to have. And by the grace of God, by year 2027, we are going to have him. Okay? All things being equal, with God on our side, because without God, there's nothing anybody can do. Forget about Nigerian politicians. I don't want to be identified as such. You know, we lie too much. We believe that politics is about confusing people, whereas the true definition is not confusing. It's not about confusing. It's about your ability to convince. And in convincing people, you must state the facts. Okay? But in Nigeria, it has been turned to confusion. And the more they are able to confuse, like they have confused Nigeria, now, and Nigeria is in this confused state. And now the people that have been confused are now living in hunger and abject poverty. We need to change the narrative. We need to remove this trajectory. And we need to move to a place where people, we have confidence in Nigerian politicians and say, look, when they say yes, it means yes. And when they say no, they mean no. And let me go back to the National Transition Committee set up by NSC. There's no place, that thing doesn't have any place in law. It doesn't have any place in our constitution. NSC doesn't have a role to play to the extent of establishing a transition committee. So it's null and void ab initio. And of course, you recall the era of new PDP. Yeah, nobody will stop them from bearing whatever name they want to call themselves. But they will have to go and get an office for themselves and run the office and run an election under the transition committee of the NSC, as they may want to call it. So we are guided by our constitution.
If I may butt in, my apologies. Yeah. My apologies if I may butt in. Well, you are still a Nigerian politician. What we usually tell politicians, in the Nigerian law, you are allowed, under the law, you are innocent until you're found guilty by a competent court of competent court. But when it comes to politicians, the way Nigerians perceive politicians, you're guilty. You now have to be an exception not to be found guilty. So it's not a conversation or an argument. So if you want to distinguish yourself, we wish you the very best. But let's move on now to...
Not only me. There are a lot of politicians in Nigeria who want to stand out. Let me ask you a question.
It's not a top shop.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
I am the one asking the question.
Let me just ask you a question.
Mr. Olorunfemi, permit me.
If you have the best of house in Nigeria, 21 billion naira house, how many years are you going to spend in that house before you die? And look at my age. I'm 60 years old. In the next 20 years, where do you think I will be? So what's the fuse about all of this? The best anybody can do is to leave legacy for the generation coming.
All right. Let's be. It's nothing personal. I just gave you a perspective of how Nigeria perceives politicians. So everybody can make out of it whatever they want to make out of it to stand out. Okay. Elections are coming. Let's begin with Ondo. We seem not to be having a strong showing of Ondo like we're seeing in Edo State with Olumide Akpata in Ondo State. What exactly is going on with Labour Party in Ondo State?
Well, as God will have it, I am the candidate of the Labour Party in Ondo State. And we are working underground, strategizing in ensuring that Labour Party produce the next governor in Ondo State by the grace of God. We are going to do it. We have laid down our programs. And of course, you know that during the Labour Party government in Ondo State, tuition fees in our universities was around 14,000, 20,000, 15,000. Right now it's about 150,000, 160,000. So first thing we are going to do is to reduce the tuition fee so that an average Nigerian will be able to send his or her daughter or children, his or her children to any university of his or her choice in Ondo State. So we are going to reduce the tuition fee in our tertiary institutions by half. So we are working on that.
No, Mr. Olorunfemi, if you want, Mr. Olorunfemi, permit me. The day I want you to come and campaign, we will tell you, because if you do that now, I hope you have your check.
We are solidly on ground in Ondo State.
Hold on, I hope you have your check to give it. No, hold on. You need to give me a check so that you can do your campaign properly, so we can give it to marketing. It's not that. So a lot of people don't know you. They know other candidates. That's why we're asking that question. A lot of people are surprised that you are the candidate. That's the showing we're talking about. No strong showing as much as possible. But now, let's move to... Just hold on, Mr. Olorunfemi. I'm totally out of time. Yeah. Edo State, where we're seeing a strong showing, at least we know that there's Asue Godalo. We know that there's Monday Okpebolo of the APC. We also know that there is Olumide Akpata. That party seems to still be divided, which is one of the strongholds of the Labour Party. Some people are declaring Obidients for Asue. Some people are declaring for this. How does the party want to win an election when itself is that split along maybe three parts?
Well, you are seeing splitting. We are seeing some challenges which we are dealing with. And by the grace of God, within the next couple of weeks, all those differences will be resolved and will come out stronger in Edo State. I can I can tell you that. You will see what will happen and do within the next couple of weeks. We are bound to have disagreement here and there, especially for a party, an emerging party like Labour Party, with a mixed multitude. So you expect some of these things to come to play. But I can assure you, within the next couple of weeks, you'll see what will happen. We are coming out stronger in Edo, and we are taking over Edo by the grace of God.
All right, just a last question. Is the NWC of the Labour Party united for Olumide Akpata in the election that is coming up in September?
We have no choice. We went there to conduct a primary and declare Olumide Akpata as the governorship candidate of Labour Party. So we cannot declare somebody a winner of a primary and work against him. It's not possible. So those are the figment, what I call figment of the imagination.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that question, is because when his hands were raised by the presidential candidate, Mr. Julius Abure, was not there. And I hope that one of these days, Julius Abure will show up also ask questions, because a lot from the beginning of this crisis till now centers around him. Everybody who is coming to, quote and unquote, in your view as the NWC, divide the party, is coming for Abure's head. So Abure needs to answer questions as to why this is, and maybe give us some explanation.
I wasn't there too. Abure wasn't there, but Abure was there in spirit. While we were on our way to Edo State, some guys in NSC were on their way to INEC with a view to confuse the INEC people to issue a letter saying our tenure has expired. And you know that our tenure, we've just started the new tenure. And some people are saying our tenure has expired. And they will deceive them and get a letter to further confuse people. Before you solve that problem, it will have gone very far. So they believe that we are out of Abuja already. And they quickly wanted to do that. And we discovered we got our intel.
We're totally out of time.
We got our intel and moving to,
We're totally out of time, Mr. Ayo Olorunfemi. Thank you so much for coming to the program. The National Vice President of the Labour, National Vice Chairman, I should say. My apologies.
The National Deputy Chairman.
National Deputy Chairman, my apologies, of the Labour Party, Mr. Ayo Olorunfemi. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, when we come back after this break, we'll switch gears to issues of insecurity in the Northwest. 2 days, the governors of the region and even the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, was present at a summit organized in collaboration with the UNDP to foster what could be the best future for that region. There are about 7 states, and the northern region has been plagued by so many things that Nigeria complains about, yet it holds so much potential underneath all of that. What can be done to change that trajectory and reposition that narrative? I'll be joined by an expert who talks about it right here on the program. Join us again.